In today's video, we get our Formula 1 2017 Career Mode Series underway with Round 1, the Australian Grand Prix. Let's go!
Y'all know the name.
What's going on, guys? My name's Patinio and welcome to the start of my Formula 1 2017 Career Mode Series. Apologies it's taken so long to get started. I've been just so massively busy in real life. It's just been coming at me in a million miles an hour non-stop. So finally I've got some time now to get it done, and we are going to be getting this up and running. So as you can see, I decided to join McLaren because they are my favourite team. They're the team I always watch and recently always seem to have to cuss out because terrible. Not necessarily the team, it's more to do with the engine, but we'll get into that as we run through this series. The number I've taken is the number 12, purely because that was Senna's first number when he joined McLaren back in 1988. My teammate is Fernando Alonso, of course. I've picked Fernando Alonso because I want to see if he doesn't race at Monaco. That would be a nice feature if they had that in there. Him not being at Monaco, maybe Jensen coming in. I doubt it, but we'll see what happens there. In terms of the rules, they're on screen now. So, rules and settings, 50% races, that is with full quali, and it does have practice sessions, 2 1 hour and 1 half an hour, I think it is. Difficulty at the moment is set at 85%, but that will increase as things get a little bit easier, I suppose, with the development of the car. I don't want to be, by the end of the season, winning races just easily like I was last time. So 85% difficulty, but it will go up in increments just to keep it challenging for myself and interesting for you guys, hopefully, as well. Manual starts and pit stops. Already had a bit of a go with these. The pit stops are quite difficult, especially when it comes to finding the line, so that's going to be interesting. No ABS or traction control, and of course no flashbacks. That's the big one. Real Formula 1 drivers can't time travel. I shouldn't be able to either. So there we go. That is what it is on the rule front. Okay, so looking ahead at practice, and it actually went very, very well. We do have 2 new types of practice program in here. So we had 3 last time, it's 5 this time. The new ones being race pace and also fuel management. The fuel management was the tougher one of the 2 new ones, in my opinion. The lifting and coasting is difficult because I tend to lift and then I'd kind of just roll past my braking point and then I'd have to really brake hard. So it took a little while to kind of get into the mentality of the lifting and coasting thing to save fuel, but by the end of it we actually went purple in every single practice program, which is really good. So we're going to have a lot of resource points, and believe me, we need them. While this car is very, very good through the corners, in terms of the chassis, I think we're about mid-table. In terms of the aero, I think we're about mid-table. We're about 4th or 5th in those 2 departments. We are so far behind when it comes to the power unit. It is unbelievable. It is so gutless. It is untrue. So that's the big area I'm going to be looking at. The other one is going to be durability, because we do have, of course, now have to manage each of the components within the power unit. So you've got the MGUK, the MGUH, the turbocharger, the internal combustion engine, the control electronics, and so on. And we've also got to manage our gearboxes as well. So durability is going to be a big area we're going to need to improve on, just to make things a little bit easier towards the end of the season. We don't want to be getting to races and maybe having the performance to do well, but not having the reliability to actually finish a race and do it. The last thing we want to be doing is losing 6th gear or having the car just expire in a cloud of smoke. That is the last thing we want to happen. So we are going to be looking at durability quite heavily over the course of the season in terms of development. But now we move on to qualifying, and just before the session got started we were given our first rival by our agent. As you can see, it's Fernando Alonso, our teammate, so it's going to be a pretty difficult one. We know how good Fernando can be on any given day, so we're going to have to work hard to try and beat him. But onto the qualifying session proper now, and this is the end of my first and what would turn out to be my only flying lap, actually. It wasn't a good one. I'll be perfectly honest, it wasn't a good one. We come across the line with a 127.9, which at the time was good enough for P4, but as the session progressed, we found ourselves in the Q1 drop zone, which meant we had to go out for another lap. But it didn't go well. We've got a Mercedes up the inside of us. Not sure if it's Bottas or Hamilton, but then this happens. So we lose a good portion, perhaps all of the left-hand side of the front wing, which basically consigned us all the way to 19th place with Marcus Ericsson behind us and Verline and our teammate Fernando Alonso ahead of us in 18th and 17th. It was Kimi Räikkönen who took pole from Hamilton and Vettel and Bottas, of course. So that front row, pretty much we knew that was going to happen there. But there's Fernando Alonso, there's myself. So we're very much in a scrap with the Saubers at the moment to see who is going to end up last. The race goals, we've got to finish 17th, beat our teammate and end the race in 17th position in the championship. So we've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of work ahead of us. Qualifying didn't help, and again, we know how bad the engine is. We know how gutless it is, and there's 2 decent straights with DRS, so it might be a struggle, this one. I'm not a fan of this circuit. I'm not brilliant around here, so apologies for what you may be about to see. But yeah, what we're going to do now is we're going to move down to the grid. We're going to take a look at the strategy, and then we're going to get the first race of the season underway. Let's go. So here we are then, guys, on the grid just ahead of the start for round 1 of our career mode series. And strategy. It's a tough one. I was really hoping that a 2-stop wouldn't have been that big of a gap. 6 seconds might be tough to make up, so I think I'm going to have the 1-stop. It's not my favourable one, but that is what I'm going to go for. And I'm going to add some more fuel because we've got 29 laps, and for some reason they're putting like 27. I don't want to have to sit around fuel saving, so I'm going to whack 30 laps of fuel in. This may seem weird and it may seem counterintuitive to what I'm trying to do, but honestly, the last game, 2016, when it got to like the last 5-6 laps, I could just turn the wick up and just go for it. Just absolutely run it as fast as I possibly can without having to worry about fuel conservation, and I actually picked up places doing that. So that's what we're going to do this time. So it's going to be a 1-stop. As you can see from the forecast, it's going to be sunny throughout, so no problem there, no threat of rain, which bit disappointing. I think maybe if it was raining we could have made up a little bit more, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, that's what we're going to go for. See, it's that much faster. But yeah, 19th on the grid, not an ideal starting place, but the only way is up. So Australian Grand Prix, let's go. Here we go then. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we're off, and the first phase is pretty good, but the second phase is absolutely brilliant. We hook it up perfectly. We've swept past Verline and our teammate Fernando Alonso and runs to the back of Jolyon Palmer with a big dive down the inside into turn 1. We lock both wheels. Palmer has the better line, but we retain 17th place, so we've made a pretty good start as we blaze now down towards turn number 3. And again, we're going to have another look down the inside of Palmer. We lock up the inside right. He's still on the outside of us as we come through turn 3, which is going to turn to the inside for turn number 4. We hang it around the outside, we give him space, and we take the position. So now we've moved up to 16th place, and we're now behind his teammate Nico Hulkenberg. And looking at their tyres, given they're on the soft, my suspicion at this point is that they were going to go very, very long through their first stint before their one and only pit stop. So it was very, very important at this point that we try and get past anybody on the soft tyres that we're expected to be racing against. But you're going to see here, it's not going to be an easy task trying to get past anyone around this circuit or any other. Granted, through here, 11 and 12, we get our line all wrong, which is going to bring Jolyon Palmer right up to the back of us, going down towards turn 13. You can see in the rearview mirrors he's getting closer and closer. We're going to show him the outside of the corner, go defensive, run him as deep as we possibly can, and we retain the position. We sort of hang him out to dry and leave him to the Saubers and our teammate Alonso again, and try and catch up to the back of Nico Hulkenberg. But as I've said, through the twisty stuff, the car felt very, very good, especially under a heavy fuel load compared to the other ones. But as soon as we get into anything resembling a straight, anything resembling a section that you could go flat out through, we just had absolutely no answer to them. What we're going to do now, though, is we are going to jump ahead a little bit. This is the back end of lap number 5. We're still in 16th place behind Nico Hulkenberg. And again, you're going to see just how outclassed we are down the straights. We get a brilliant exit through the final corner, and with DRS, we get close, but we just can't get it done. So we decide we're going to have to tuck back in, try and maximise our exit through turns 1 and 2 and go again, as we're going to get another dose of DRS. What doesn't help, of course, is the fact that Hulkenberg also has DRS. He's within a second of the car in front, which is the Haas of Kevin Magnussen, I believe. But it was such a frustrating opening part of the race. We were so much better through the corners. You're going to see through here, we do pick up quite a bit of time. We get closer and closer to Hulkenberg through the turns, but as I said, anything resembling a straight, anything resembling a section where you could go flat out, your foot to the floor, we were just getting left behind. Like through here, you can see it's just pulling away from us. Even if we do get a better exit, we just have no answer to them. And at this point, I was kind of, one of the things that flashed through my head at this point is like, so this is what Fernando Alonso has been complaining about for so long. I was like, it can't be that bad. It's a Formula 1 car. It can't be that bad. But just feeling this, you're like, okay, yeah, this is basically a GP2 engine. I don't know what they're like, but I know they're a lot slower than a Formula 1 engine should be. And you can just see here again, Palmer gets closer, Hulkenberg gets further away. Palmer actually has a look down the outside again. We have to go defensive. We keep holding the position, but this was the overarching theme of our race. You know, the guys ahead, they, you know, through the straight stuff, they would get away from us. The guys behind would get closer, and then through this final sequence of corners, we would get closer again. But even with DRS, we just can't make a dent. Granted, the Renault does have DRS as well, but we're on the softer compound tyre, and we're getting better exits through the final corner, and we still can't get close enough. So we're moving on to lap number 7 now, coming down once again to turn number 3. We've got DRS again. At this point, it's just a case of I'm going to have a dive. We're going to take a big lunge down the inside. We lock up the wheels, make a bit of contact with Hulkenberg, and just keep it at the back of Kevin Magnussen. But we get the job done, and we've now moved up to 15th place, and we're setting off in pursuit of Kevin Magnussen and the possibility of maybe getting some points at this point in the Grand Prix, because we've made a very, very good start, and points are definitely on the table. But what we're going to do now is move ahead to the end of lap number 10. And as you can see, Kevin Magnussen is starting to get away from us. That's because our super soft tyres are very much going off at this point in the Grand Prix. And we're going to see just how much here. We break down into 13. We run very wide onto the grass, which is going to give Palmer the chance to get up side by side with us. He takes the inside through 14. We use as much of the track as we possibly can to try and hold on to the position, but we lock up the fronts there, and Palmer takes the position and demotes us down to 10th place. He was ahead of us at the DRS detection zone though, which means we are going to get DRS down these next 2 straights, but as you can see, it's not making any difference at all. He's just pulling away from us as we come through turn number 1. Bit of a liberal take to the track markings there. We get away with it without any sort of warning though, and we push on down towards turn number 3 with DRS once again wide open, but again not making any sort of impression on the gap between ourselves. So we tuck in, because we've been very good through this section of corners here. We've had the measure of the Renaults through this section, not just here, but especially through this corner, corner 5. They seem to take it very, very slowly, and Palmer must have been looking in his mirrors, because he's going to lock up, get onto the marbles, and hand the position straight back to us. But in the process, he's also going to hold up his teammate Hulkenberg and Danny Ricciardo with the Red Bull, who is 2-stopping there. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump ahead once again now to the end of lap 13 and the start of our pit stop phase. And as you can see, we've still got Jolie and Palmer in close proximity, along with Danny Ricciardo, and they've been joined by Ricciardo's Red Bull teammate Max Verstappen. We're going to duck into the pits now, get rid of these super soft tyres, make our one and only stop, because these tyres were very much done at this point. We were really struggling on them, but we're going to struggle some more because we get our pit entry all wrong. Brake way too early to get on the limiter, which is going to cost us quite a bit of time, possibly a second, as we come into our pit box now. New set of soft tyres coming on, and we're going to make another mistake now. We get dropped down, and again another delay in getting out. So it happened so quickly. I don't know what it was, but my brain just kind of switched off for a second. I was thinking it was going to take a lot longer, but as we come out now, you're going to see one goes past. I think that might have been a Sauber and our teammate Fernando Alonso, who is 2-stopping. But we're going to jump ahead and get, once again, a big jump now towards the back end of lap number 20. As you can see, we've got a Haas, I think that was Roman Grosjean just ahead of us, and Lance Stroll just behind. But as we come through the final corner, we're going to get the message that Max Verstappen has now retired, so he is out of the race. We're going to take a look at the replay now to find out why. He's had a miserable season with retirements in real life, and it looks like it's going to continue in our series as well. Engine sounds maybe a little bit sick. He pulls over to the right side, and then big cloud of smoke coming out of the back of his Renault engine. He pulls to one side, and his race comes to a premature end. But our race is going to continue, and we're going to jump ahead once again now. This is towards the back end of lap number 21. As you can see, we've got the Williams of Lance Stroll not too far behind us. He's been catching us fairly consistently, purely because I'm not having any joy on these soft tyres at this point. They really are. I'm really struggling to get the car through corners, you can see here, but also I'm struggling with what I can only assume is brake fade. Really struggling to get the car slowed down into corners, so I think it's a part of the tyres and also a part of the brakes. I think it's more so the brakes, and you can see he's got DRS, he's having a little look down the inside. He's not going to have to work too hard for the overtake. We struggle to get it slowed down again and have to take to the grass, and Lance Stroll is going to take the position and move up to 12th place. And with DRS and a Mercedes engine, we've got no hope of maybe retaking the position down to 3. And even more so when we lock up and run wide, so we're on the grass again. And as I said, it was just very, very difficult to drive the car at this point in the Grand Prix. We're going to jump ahead once again now. This is towards the back end of lap number 24. As you can see, we've got Kevin Magnussen, who's been catching us fairly consistently in the Haas on those super soft tyres. We're also both getting blue flags because we've got Kimi Raikkonen closing up to the back of us fairly rapidly. He is, of course, at this point, the leader of the Grand Prix as we come through turns 11 and 12. And this is where the episode name mistakes were made came from. If you look at my rear view mirrors, I can't see anything from where I'm sitting. And I get that call, and I assume it's Raikkonen who's directly behind us, but to my surprise, Kevin Magnussen is the one who sneaks through, and then I can see Kimi Raikkonen in our rear view mirrors, so this really, really annoyed me because I couldn't see him, as I said, I couldn't see anything in my mirrors. The minimap was basically useless, and I've just given away a position without any sort of a fight whatsoever. We are going to get DRS down this main straight, and Kimi Raikkonen is, of course, going to lap us as well, so we're going to go one lap shorter than was originally intended, and he's going to get past fairly easily, so our only chance of getting the position back is by slotting in and hopefully hanging on to the back of Raikkonen, so when he does come around to lap Magnussen, maybe there's a, maybe it doesn't go as smoothly as they hoped it would and I can take the position, but as you can see, it's going to be very difficult. They're both Ferrari powered cars and they definitely have the measure of us at this point in the season. We're going to jump ahead once again now though. This is towards the back end of the same lap, so as you can see in the bottom corner of the screen, you saw Kevin Magnussen getting lapped there by Kimi Raikkonen, and we're going to come through 11 and 12 again. We can see just there, yellow flags. I hit the brakes, almost lose the back end and almost collect what I think is Felipe Massa's Williams. Not sure why he was going so slowly there. He didn't retire. There was nothing that came up as a retirement, so not really sure what happened there, and we just about survived. But now we're going to take a look at a replay, and this is Danny Kvyat's race coming to an end. So as he comes down towards turn number 6, he just pulls off to the side. No cloud of smoke like Verstappen, so not sure what the problem was, but his race has come to an end. But we're going to make one last jump now. This is towards the back end of lap number 28. As you can see, we've got Lewis Hamilton closing up to the back of us. We are getting blue flags, but it's not really going to matter. This for us is the final lap of the Grand Prix, and we're going to come through the final corner. Kimi Raikkonen wins the opening round of the season there in Australia, and we're going to come through to finish a pretty good 13th place. Roger that, guys. I'm sorry I couldn't do more this weekend. Car felt really off towards the back end of the Grand Prix, but thanks for the hard work, and we'll go again in China.
For the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari.
So there you have it then, guys. That is the end of the Australian Grand Prix weekend, and 13th place wasn't a bad finish. It could have been better though. I understand it could have been better, because if it wasn't for the mistakes in the pit stop and the issues I had with regards to the brakes and the tyres towards the back end of the Grand Prix, it may have been a lot better. We weren't too far away from Romain Grosjean, as you can see on screen, so we could have challenged maybe for that final point without those mistakes, but given where the car is in terms of development and how far behind we are with regards to the power unit, 13th place isn't a bad finish. And the other bonus is we've beaten the team's expectation of finishing 17th or higher, and we've also beaten our teammate, which is going to help as well. Taking a look at the driver rivalry, as you can see, we were 1 point behind before we went into the race, and then we're now 1 point ahead going into the Chinese Grand Prix weekend, which will be the next episode. So again, it's going to be important to beat our teammate, because there are things within the R&D tree bonuses you can unlock, which is going to make updating the car a little bit easier and a little bit faster, I believe, if memory serves me right. One of the other things that is going to help, of course, is going to be the classic cars. We're going to get to drive some classic cars, and we're going to get to meet this guy now, whose name apparently is Jonathan.
Indeed it is. And this is Jonathan.
Told ya.
He's going to let you drive some of his cars.
Cool.
Well, not quite my cars, per se. It's a mere detail. You know, I'd really rather be down there racing them myself, to be honest. I'm actually quite handy behind the wheel, but it's the downforce, those lateral G's, you know? The old neck can't really handle it.
Cool story, bro.
So I need a pro. That's where you come in. We run in a bunch of events throughout the year. Time trials, races, all sorts. And I have it on good authority that you have the ability and temperament to do well in these. Make our business look good, and most importantly, bring the cars back in one piece.
No promises.
So consider this a formal invitation. I'll see you at the track.
Cool. Which track? Oh, you're walking away. You're not going to tell me? Do I have to guess or something? No? Okay. Bye. So yeah, there's that guy. And as I said, driving the classic cars is going to unlock certain things within the R&D tree, which will make updating the car a little bit easier, I believe, if memory serves correctly. Don't quote me on that though, because I'm not looking at that screen right now. But yeah, guys, that is the end of the episode. So thank you everybody so much for watching. If you did enjoy and you would like to see more of my F1 2017 career mode series, then please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe also to stay up to date with all new content from myself. We are going to be having some Project Cars 2 coming tomorrow. I'm very, very excited for that game also. So if you are too, make sure you subscribe. And also leave a comment down below. How is your career mode season going? Are you stuck with this donkey of a Honda engine like I am? Are you suffering? I hope not, but if you are, leave a comment down below, and if you're not, let me know how your season's going. But again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you all next time out for the Chinese Grand Prix. Peace!